In this video, I will talk about project setup for developing Tauri apps. I will talk about project setup with regular single-page application with Vue, and how to set up a meta framework app with SvelteKit and Nuxt. Before starting, you need to make sure you at least have Node.js and Rust installed. If you are using Linux, you may need to install more library dependencies. I like to search for GitHub action in Tauri's documentation and use the dependencies they use for auto-building. This Ubuntu-only step contains the dependencies you need to start development on Ubuntu. You may still get errors about missing dependencies. Just search for the missing library on Google or ChatGPT. It's easy to find an answer. For example, these two libraries are usually missing. One of the advantages of using Tauri is that it can easily and seamlessly integrate with almost any front-end framework, including the meta frameworks. The simplest way to start a Tauri app is to go to the documentation website and run the given command. It will generate a project scaffold for you. I personally prefer using npm. Enter an app name, choose TypeScript and JavaScript. Feel free to use Rust front-end framework, but I don't have experience with them. Choose your favorite package manager. I will use npm for now because it comes with Node.js, but for my personal projects I prefer to use Bung, who is much faster. Choose a UI template. Here is a list of single-page application. I'm familiar with Vue, Svelte, and React, but I personally don't recommend using React or its meta framework Nuxt.js for building a Tauri app. I can explain this later, but I will choose Vue for now. For UI flavor, I always choose TypeScript for better type safety and autocomplete. When the template is ready, we can cd into the directory, run npm install to install the dependencies, and run npm run Tauri dev to start the development app. It will start a Vue dev server, which you can open within the browser.
So here's a Vue app in browser. It's still building the Tauri app. It's gonna take a while. And the Tauri app is ready.
This is the simplest way to start a Tauri app, and it's also simple to integrate a framework not from the list manually. There are many benefits from using a meta framework. The most common one is server-side rendering, which improves SEO and reduces page load time. But server-side rendering cannot be used with Tauri, because SSR requires a JavaScript runtime to run the server, and Tauri will not embed Node.js into the app. Also, there is no reason to use SSR for a desktop app as resources are loaded from local computer. The reason I always use a meta framework like Nuxt or SvelteKit with Tauri is that it simplifies routing for me. In addition, meta frameworks usually come with extra features. For example, I really enjoy Nuxt modules ecosystem, making library integration so much easier. Let's follow the instructions for SvelteKit and create a Tauri app with a meta framework. Although the instructions are for SvelteKit, you can easily integrate with any framework once you understand it. First, create a regular SvelteKit project. But wait a second, with this SvelteKit template we will end up with a plain template that looks ugly. What I usually do in this step is to replace the command with another UI framework called Skeleton. It's simply SvelteKit plus Tailwind styling, so it affects nothing but making the UI better. Again, it's also a single command. I will choose the app shell template. For theme, I will choose Skeleton. These packages doesn't matter as this is just a demonstration. Add them if needed. And yes, for using TypeScript, I don't need any of these functionalities for now. Run npm install first. Npm run dev gives us a beautiful web page. Next, we need to go back to the documentation and add Tauri, install the static adapter and update the configuration file. Also set SSR to false and pre-render to true in the layout file. This is because all pages have to be pre-rendered instead of server-side rendered in production. Then install Tauri CLI and add Tauri command to script as an alias. Run this command to initialize Tauri app. Enter the information following the documentation. These values are framework specific. These values are for SvelteKit only. For example, if you are setting up a Nuxt.js Tauri app, you should use port 3000 for the development server. Now the app setup is complete. What you just entered are saved in the Tauri configuration file. If you entered the wrong value, you can always edit this file. Now, run this command to start the app. Looks nice. Let's look at what it's doing under the hood. First, before dev command is run, it spawns a new process for the SvelteKit development server on port 5173 of localhost. Then Tauri opens a browser in the form of a desktop app and load the website into it. You can even right-click and open Inspect Element tool. In nature, it's simply a browser. If you change the dev path in Tauri configuration to Google, the Tauri app will load Google in it. You can also watch videos on YouTube if you want.
No, give me that. You have the little one.
So it's just a browser, and Tauri makes writing a desktop app as easy as writing a web app. Next, let's build a production build, but remember to change the bundle identifier. The build command will first generate a production build for the web app. If you didn't disable SSR, you will get this error. Tauri is looking for a static build and unable to find it. A proper setup should generate a build folder with an index.html file in it. Let's entry point to the front end, and Tauri will load this file in production to display web page. The same holds for other front-end frameworks. Nuxt is a meta framework for Vue.js. I really like it. Although Tauri's official documentation doesn't have it, we can integrate Nuxt with Tauri following the same procedure as SvelteKit. They also provide documentation for integrating into existing projects. I'm not going to go through Nuxt in details. I made a template for Nuxt and Tauri on GitHub. SSR for Nuxt must be disabled in Nuxt config. Generate command must be used instead of build to generate a static build for Nuxt. You can find more resources in the awesome Tauri GitHub repo. There are many templates and plugins, so why I said I don't like to use React or Next. I have tried both React and Next with Tauri and got so many obstacles, wasting lots of time. Yes, there is always a solution, but I would not experience the trouble and could save a ton of time if I use Vue or Svelte. One example I have with React and Next is onMount. There is a concept in Tauri called event. I can listen for events using JavaScript. The listen function returns an unlistened function which can be called when the component is destroyed. The onMounted function in React can be implemented with useEffect hook with no dependencies, and the returned function from useEffect is used for cleanup. Starting from React version 18, in development, useEffect gets triggered twice with strict mode. This means if I listen to an event like this, the listener callback function will get called twice, messing up the logic of my code. Furthermore, the listen function returns a promise, so we should have waited to get the unlistened function, but React's useEffect function doesn't allow a sync function. Yes, there are workarounds. I can do it this way, define an unlistened reference outside, and create another async function in useEffect. This gets more complicated. Let's look at the Svelte and Vue version. They look pretty much exactly the same and much more elegant. In Nuxt, it can be even simpler as Nuxt supports top-level await. I have encountered much more problems with React and Next, so I always use SvelteKit or Nuxt when building a Tauri app. Thank you for watching. I'm working on more topics. Consider subscribing for more interesting videos. Stay tuned.